It's that time again. It's the first beer from this month's Beer52 Poland box. Are we going to start with a huge, big banger? Let's find out, shall we? Let's get ready to rock. Welcome back to Rocker's Beer Review. Today we're going to be reviewing this beer. It's an American Beauty. It's the first beer from this month's Beer52. We've got 10 of these to get through. This is beer number 1. And most, 8 of them are bottles and just 2 are cans. So I thought I'd start with the cans. As I said, American Beauty is an American blonde ale. It is by Trzech Kumpli, which according to one of my viewers, that's Jamie Moore, translates as 3 friends, 3 pals, 3 buddies, something like that. So 3 guys that set up the brewery, and these are obviously this is the first one from the Beer52 box. So let's get this beer out of the can and into a glass. So the Poland beers, I'm looking forward to. There's quite a lot of quite interesting ones. I think this one's going to be probably a very sort of, it's a blonde ale, so it's going to be very sort of like a lager pilsner sort of thing. Beer in the glass. Certainly looks like a lager. We've got one little finger of head there, high levels of carbonation as it's racing up there, and it's a sort of, a light blonde like beer, like a lager. That it's sort of pale yellow. It's got a slight haze, but it's you can see my face through there, fairly clear. Very, very high levels of carbonation. Let's see what the aromas are. Yeah, it doesn't really smell like a traditional lager, though. It's got nice sort of lemony, citrusy sort of notes. Bit of sort of... there's even a slight little bit of mango in there. Yeah, a little bit of mango. It's not overly powerful, but there's definitely that sort of tropical mango in there, which is, for a beer that looks like that, you don't usually get those aromas. So I think this one's going to be quite interesting. Citrus and mango. Let's see what it tastes like. Cheers, everyone. Here's to Poland and their great beers. Yeah, I mean, it has more of a taste sort of characteristic of a pale ale or session IPA in terms of what we're used to on this channel. Mango and citrus is in that mix there. And actually, even though the carbonation looked pretty high, I thought it was going to be quite fizzy. It's fairly soft, and the carbonation is sort of medium to low. Yeah, it's got that cutting sharpness of a good lager, really refreshing, and it's quite dry. But there is those sort of fruit flavours, maybe a little bit of melon in there, but definitely sort of a mango. And sort of, all the sort of citrus fruits, certainly lemon and lime. There's not much bitterness. It's really nice. Very easy drinking, as you would expect. You look at a beer like that and you think it's light. It's, it's clear. It's got that sort of real sharp zestiness on it. But for me, the biggest surprise is it's made easier to drink by the fact that the carbonation isn't that high. It sort of comes into your mouth and it's fairly soft. You get a little bit of, a little bit of the flavour zinging around there. So you get some of those sort of mango and those sort of lemon. I think lemon is quite overpowering in terms of that citrusy sort of flavour there. But, a lemon, again, if you're looking at pilsners and lagers, if you've got a good one, or certainly something that's a slightly bit more than your traditional sort of, off the shelf sort of lager, you get that sort of citrus sort of notes on it. But it's dry like, it's dry like a lot of those sort of continental lagers are. So like a German pilsner. There's not really any sort of sweetness in there. That sort of, and as it's in your mouth a little bit more, the dryness there is a slight edge of bitterness, but just sort of rounds it off. And it's a really good drink. That's a good start for this month. I looked at this one and I thought, this is going to be the sort of, the easy one. It's going to be a bit like a lager pilsner, but actually it's a lot better than, it's only got, well, I say it's a lot better. I mean, nothing against lagers. What I mean is that it's got more to, to the lager. It's unusual when you drink it. You expect it to be very sort of, like a lager, that sort of maltiness, but you don't get that maltiness. Instead, you get that fruitiness from a bit of mango and a bit of lemon. Lovely dryness as well. Really, really nice. I'm going to get some scores before I finish this whole drink. It's a lovely one, though. Let's get some scores. Okay, the scores are in for American Beauty. This is from the Trzech Kumpli. Apologise if that's not pronounced correctly. Translates as Three Pals. Polish Brewery, and it's an American blonde ale. Now, I've not really had American blonde ales. I'd probably, when I read that, I thought American blonde ale, it's going to be like a sort of a light lager, and certainly poured and looked like a light lager. But the first things that was surprising to me was the aromas. So there was that sort of mango. There was a little bit of mango, but it was very sort of citrusy in terms of the aroma. Really nice, and it was unexpected. I'm giving it a 12 for aroma out of 20. Then appearance. Well, I mean, it's a very light. It's got a very slight haze on it, but it's quite clear and yellow, and it looks like a lager, a pilsner, or to some extent a pale ale. It's not bad. I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. Flavour. Yeah, it's very dry. It's, that you expected it to be quite high in carbonation when it poured, and you look at the head as well, which is, it's a nice lace in the glass, but the head sort of doesn't really stay there much. But it was quite surprising in terms of when you put it in your mouth that how softer it was than my expectations was of it. Nice. The flavours were similar to the aromas. You had that sort of mango. Then you had a sort of quite strong citrus flavour in there, very sort of zesty and lemony, but really pleasant. But it didn't really do much more than that. There's a little bit of bitterness there on the back end, so I'm giving it a 32 for flavour. Value for money. Every time I do the value for money, this is a 330ml can. Okay, I bought it on Beer52. This month I got 10 beers for 24 quid. So that's £2.40 a beer if you exclude the snack and the magazine. Would I pay £2.40 for that? Well, I mean, it's getting to that point where, this is a 5% beer. I can go to supermarkets and I can buy a can of this size of craft beer for £1.80, but I can also pay £2.20 for it. I'm not paying much more, so it's even if I did it at £2.40, it's a bit more expensive for a small can. So I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. It's the standard Beer52. I can't, I thought could I give it an 8, but I think I can't really go much more than that. 7 out of 10. And then my overall experience though. It's a damn fine beer. Really smashable. It's 5%. You think it's going to be sort of lagery, but it's just got that fruitiness. It tastes more like a pale ale. It's got more of a pale ale. It's a pale ale lager sort of hybrid, but it's quite nice in that it's got more fruit and less of that sort of maltiness that you would get with just a normal lager. So 14 out of 20 for overall. And then total all those scores up, we getting a 72 out of 100. It's a Whitesnake beer. It's a recommended beer. So I don't know if you'll see this, but if you're a Beer52 subscriber and you've got this beer, then I think you're going to enjoy it. I'm going to just give a little thing what it says on the can here, because I realised I haven't read it out at the beginning. It says, the idea we share was fairly straightforward and easy drinking. Yep. Everyday beer, what we would like to keep in the fridge. Bitter but well balanced. Yeah, I would agree with that. Light yet aromatic. Instead of knocking you out off your feet, American Beauty will serve to unwind and perk you up. Cheerful citrus, mango, and lychee. I mean, lychee is one of those sort of fruits I see. Do see it sometimes when you're describing craft beer, but who's ever had a lychee? I'm not really sure. I think, isn't it a fruit that you get? It's like if you go to an Indian restaurant, you can get a lychee. I think that's probably the only time when you're more common to get it, and nobody really has a dessert in a curry house. You just have another beer. So cheerful citrus mango lychee on the nose, light, crisp, moderately bitter and fruity, very drinkable. That's a pretty damn good description of this beer. It's a good one. We're starting off with a banger. Let's hope we can keep the consistency up. Until the next one, keep on rocking.